want to go to Fiji? Jay wants to go to Fiji. He's getting ready.
So that was a pretty quick process. Got all the paperwork done, and now we're I guess we've left the country.
Yeah, we have. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just got to take this outboard off the dinghy. Just makes the dinghy lighter when it's sitting on the davits at sea.
Bye New Zealand. Hi Pua.
Dave's just getting us set up for the Jenica. We've decided that there's just not quite enough wind for us to turn this engine off. We're not exactly keen on crawling to Fiji, so we're going to goose wing it. So we're going to have our Jenica out and our Genoa. Jenica out on the dominant side where the wind's going to hit the bigger section of sail, and have the Genoa out on the other side because the wind is pretty much dead downwind. It keeps jumping around a little bit.
So the Jenica's coming out my side?
Yeah, Jenica's out your side. I'll just double check. Actually the wind's kind of chopped around to the other side, Dave, which is nice and helpful. So currently, if I was to answer you, I would say we need to put it out the starboard side.
Ooh, okay. We can do that.
So I'm most excited to get in the water again and not freeze. And do some more water sports. Yeah.
Like what? What is it that you've missed about being
wanna-
warm?
Yeah. Kind of want to do some skiing.
Yeah.
Skiing and some wakeboarding and obviously some biscuiting and some foilboarding.
Okay, we need to get that wing out.
Yeah.
Do you want to give that a go, or do you just want to get better at riding the board?
Maybe better at riding the board first. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
There's Hole in the Rock, although we're not going through there today. We're heading on a direction of 020 true. We're just going to try and get a little bit of east in our direction, just so that when we get closer to Fiji and the wind starts coming around from the east, we've just got a little bit more east in our trip, so that we can turn up north and continue to sail instead of having to motor into the wind. So hopefully the plan works. First dinner, first day. It's been alright, isn't it?
It's been good. We've had a good go. We've had a good start to it.
Yum, having chicken tonight.
Yum, yum. And a lot of salad.
Salad. Day 2, and the weather is pretty glorious. It's still a bit cold, but we had a bit of a slower night than we had during the day. We slowed down to sort of 5s and 6s just with the dropping wind, and we've dropped down to just the Jenica now. We've put the Genoa away, so we didn't have 2 sails to deal with overnight, because one would inevitably keep collapsing with the following wind just moving around a bit. So we're just down to 1 sail. It seems to be doing all right. I don't feel that great though. I had a few chunders last night and not feeling that great this morning, but I'm up here. Dave's going to go and have some rest. We'll just see how the rest of the day goes, but yesterday finished up pretty nicely. We're just stoked to get some 7s and 8s. It's pretty exciting to be going that fast, and the boat doesn't seem to lollop as much when we're going those kind of speeds. So now that we're back down to 5s and 6s, we're lolloping a bit, but we're still heading to Fiji. The iridium seems to be a bit difficult at the moment to get signal. It's Dave took 45 minutes to download our weather last night, and we know another boat that's ahead of us can't seem to download any weather at all. So the Iridium network must be having a few issues, or their Iridium's having issues. I don't know, but ours is still pretty slow. Just hopefully it allows us to get emails for the rest of this journey, and that'll mean that we can let the people on our ePerb know where we are and how we're getting on, and also it allows us to download the information from our weather router as well, and it just gives us a really clear picture of what to expect over the coming day.
It's day 3. So we had a bit of a slow night last night with Kim not feeling the best. Just decided, basically the wind was all over the place around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So we took the Genica in, and so we had no sails up. It was getting a bit variable and around the place, so we brought the sail in and started the motor, and it's been a bit variable overnight, but then it steadied in on the beam, which was a crime not to have the sails up. But I just felt like with Kim not feeling the best, we better just motor through the night and just let her have a chance of a bit of a rest. And now we've got the full main and the Genoa out, and we're doing a good 8-9 knots with about 12 knots on the beam, so we're flying.
Just put a reef in the main and a reef in the head sail. Just wind was picking up to near 20 before. It's dropped down again now, which of course it would do. But I'm feeling heaps better now. Nothing like a bit of breeze in your face, but hopefully I remain feeling pretty good for the rest of the journey. What are you making, Reese?
I'm trying to make it a surprise.
I am making the biggest ring in the world, and these two magnets don't want to attach to each other.
See?
Look. See? Look,
Really?
goodbye. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Well, it's day 4, and if I'm to be brutally honest, I'm actually feeling pretty blur, and really can't wait for it to be over. And the waves outside aren't huge, but they're just rocking us around. It's pretty horrendous being down in the cabins at the moment, and life is not really joyous.
I don't feel too bad, but I don't feel too good either. Like, my head is really hot.
Really what, sorry?
Hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
You feeling unwell, or?
Just, yeah, unwell, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it's day 5, and the sea state hasn't changed. It's still rough as guts.
Yeah.
It's day 6, and I'm still feeling horrid. Dave's just a superstar. He's coping with most of this all on his own. He does all the cooking, and he tends to do slightly longer night shifts than me at the moment because I'm just not lasting. There's vomit most evenings, and yeah, it's just loving it. I really hope Fiji's going to make this journey worth it, because it's been horrible. But anyway, Dave's up there at the moment fiddling with sails. We've got a point that we're trying to make it to in order to start turning north to get into Savu Savu, but we're just not really making that point at the moment, just because it's too far east for us, and the weather seems to have, or the wind seems to have come around a little bit, so it's just making it a bit of an awkward angle for us to sail. It's around 40-45 degrees if we were to be sailing where we needed to go, which is about 20 degrees to the east, but it's not working for us, so we're more like 5 degrees, 10 degrees heading closer to north than we should be, but that's okay. You know, Fiji's still north, and we'll get there when we get there. Just had a hell of a lot of water come out of our engine bay into the bilge, so Dave's just down in the engine bay at the moment trying to work out where all the water's come from.
Just had a minor panic, went to double check the bilge, the main bilge, and the main bilges are fine, but the engine bay and the front watertight compartment both have drains going into them, so I opened the drains, and the engine bay just kept emptying water at high speed into the bilge, and so I got a bit worried, thinking I probably shifted 100 litres, maybe more of water, So we've had the engine bay open now. Can't find a leak, but we're just going to keep a real close eye on it. It's a bit frightening though. A few hundred miles from shore. You got loads of water in your bilge.
Well, no one likes lots of water in their bilge.
Yeah, nobody likes it.
How's your trip been so far, Che?
Well, today and yesterday haven't been too great, but the past other days, I don't know how long we've been on this trip for, have been a bit nicer. The good news is we're only 2.5 days away from Fiji.
I know, 2.5 days. What about you, P?
It's been fine. I'm getting like a bit like we need to land. We need to get there now.
Are you getting impatient?
Yeah.
How about you, Ziffy?
Yeah, I need to get there.
You need to get there now.
Yeah.
Has there anything that's been really awful about the trip?
All my beds wet.
Oh, that's right, your hatch is leaking. Yeah, no, that sucks. What about you, Reef? How's the trip been for you? Good? You didn't even notice that we're moving house, do you? This is what happens really when there is absolutely nothing else to do on the boat.
Can you flip that way?
Priya has attacked Reef's here. Wow, a few plats. I can't say you look too happy about it.
I can't believe he actually let me do it.
I can't believe he let you do it.
He was lying down, so we just started plaiting, and then he didn't move. Usually he just chucks his head and goes, no! But this time he didn't even move. So I got to play his whole head.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited this morning because we can see land, can't we?
Yes.
Our first island. We've got Dad asleep, Ziffy asleep. Dave's been a bit of a star actually because he did most of the night shifts last night. Poor bugger. But I haven't been feeling that well and we're on day 8. And I have to be honest, this is the first day I've actually felt okay. But it's been a pretty horrid trip. Only because the sea state's been like a washing machine. And again, it's been interwind sailing for us, which we just can't seem to avoid. But we just don't get this champagne sailing that everyone talks about. I mean, I don't even really know what that is. But it sounds wonderful. And we've got a few problems on the boat. One is the autopilot just kept cutting out last night, but I think it's been running for about 3 or 4 days non-stop. So it needed a rest. And the other thing is Ziffy's hatch is leaking, and it means that she keeps getting wet on her bed. So every time we get a big wave come over, she's the one that cops it. So she's actually sleeping in my bed at the moment. And other than that, to be honest, the trip's been bearable.
Yeah.
I'm looking for confirmation from everyone else. Was it bearable?
Not as bad as the one from the Solomons to New Zealand.
Really? Because I didn't get sick at all on that trip.
Yeah, but the arm was way too long.
So this sea state has been pretty consistent our entire journey. It's quite rough, like there's definitely a swell, but in between the swell there's all these little waves that just rock the boat so much. And nothing seems to have changed. We're on our last day. We're on our 8th day, and we will have an 8th night. And then tomorrow morning we'll be just doing last few bits and pieces. I wouldn't mind washing down the boat a little bit, then filling up with water so that we can sit in quarantine.
I can't believe it's still rough. It's relentless. Poor boat's taking a hell of a bashing.
Of our arrival here in Savu in Fiji. We had a pretty slow night last night. We just kept trying to slow down so that we'd get here at daybreak. And we're just going to let them know that we've arrived soon. From what I understand, the Navy will come and escort us into where they want us to quarantine, and then we'll stop there for the next 6 days. But this morning I was up very early. My shift started at 1. I was out washing our windows and washing these clears. Quarantine flags up. Oh my god, I'm so excited to be here. It was just the most disastrous trip with feeling really unwell. But my god, I'm just so excited to finally be here in like singlets and shorts. And Dave was just telling me that he could just check the water temperature and it was 27, 28 degrees. I reckon that should be alright. We're on our final approach now into our quarantine anchorage, which will be just in here. This has all been dug out, and that's where they'll put us. So we've just got to get along this coast a little bit further into the river, and then home and hosed. We'll be sitting there for 6 days.
So we've had probably between 20 to 30 knots on the beam, or just forward of the beam, for the last few days.
Yeah, it's about 60 degrees, the wind, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was a great sailing angle, but the problem was the sea state that was with it was pretty big, and so we would get our speed up, and we weren't hitting massive waves and stopping, but the waves were coming in underneath and smashing the leeward hull on the inside, and it was like a bomb going off every 10-15 minutes. It was huge.
There were a couple of them actually that made me sort of like leap out of bed, like they lifted me out of bed.
But yeah, the slap that hits the inside of the leeward hull, and of course that's the room that me and Kim have, it is literally like you're being thrown out of bed every 10-15 minutes. It's unbelievable. We're not supposed to go in further, but we just stop here and I'll just keep trying to get hold of them.
Join us next time as we wait in quarantine, try to fill in the time, have our COVID tests, and finally check into Fiji.